Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. Welcome to another news daily video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Willian and Malcom links. I'm going to be talking about Gonzalo Higuain, and I'm going to be talking about Barella, Paredes and Gary Cahill. But you know what the deal is. Today's video is brought to you by OneFootball, the best football companion app to have. It gives you everything you need instantly: news, stats, fixture lists and team lineup news as well. Make sure you download that, it really helps. Every download does get tracked, so if you want to help me out and help support the content, go to the link in the description below, click on that and download the OneFootball app. Getting straight into the first report for today, I need to talk about Gonzalo Higuain. Now, reports are stating that his brother Nicholas has travelled to London to hold discussions with us in regards to just how strongly we want to sign Higuain. Now, it's not the first time his brother has flown down. He flew down in the summer as well because Sarri is a massive fan of Higuain. Higuain and Sarri want to reunite together, but everything's falling down to price and we don't want to spend so much money for Higuain. Now, if you guys have seen my previous video where I discussed the current complications in regards to Higuain and us, for example, we want Bakayoko to be signed by Milan on a permanent. We want that guarantee first. And of course, we don't want to spend too much money on the player. He is 31 years old. By the time his loan spell ends at the end of the season, he is going to be 31 and a half years old. And when his loan spell ends, Juventus want us to spend 32 million for the player. And I kind of feel like our club gets like Shevchenko flashbacks, because the last time we spent 30 million on a player that was approaching 30, he never ended up being so great for us. Now, reports have also said that Marina, and of course it's Marina, she is quite skeptical in regards to the deal. She doesn't feel like Higuain is the right target, and I do kind of understand her perspective. In my honest opinion, I don't personally want Higuain, but later on I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on the story. But again, it's this tired and boring formula at Chelsea of managers wanting a target, the club not liking them, and managers getting players that they don't necessarily want. Now, reports are saying that Higuain does want to reunite with Sarri. He does want to move to Chelsea. It's no surprise why his brother is in London right now. Milan are also quite frustrated with this deal because they don't like that Higuain isn't showing any loyalties with the club, and ideally, if they could bring in the right replacement, they would. And to make a long story short, this whole deal is going to fall down to whether we're going to spend the money for Higuain. Now, here's why I give my thoughts and opinions, and you know what? I do kind of understand Marina's perspective. Higuain, I feel, is on the decline as well. Yes, there's context in regards to things. Milan don't play the right style of football that gets the best out of him, and of course, I'm sure that if he did come here, I feel like he could possibly find some new form, but it is a bit of a risk because there's so much money involved in this deal. We have to pay the loan fee, pay for his wages as well, and then pay 32 million at the end. In my opinion, I don't understand why this deal's being dragged out for so long. I just don't see it happening. Now, that's not me saying that's impossible. It's my opinion I'm giving. I don't see the likelihood of this happening, but there's always a small chance that we might give in to Sarri's demands and be like, you know what? We need a forward, forget it, let's go and sign the guy. Now, this is the risk of signing players in the January market because you are limited in regards to the type of players you can sign because most aren't available in the market. Now, in my opinion, I feel like there's a really easy solution to this striker issue that we do have. I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on that in the second part for today's video. I need to talk about the new reports linking Barcelona with a move for Willian, plus sending us Malcom as part of the deal. Now, the reports are coming out from the Daily Mail and from Sky, but I would say that the Daily Mail broke the story first, and they're stating that Barcelona are looking to entertain a 50 million move for Willian, as well as sending Malcom as part of that deal. Now, the report doesn't say if Malcom would sign on loan or on a permanent, but let's be serious, you guys. I'm sorry, I keep seeing these reports every single time that clubs offered us 50 or 60 million for Willian. That was not the case. I remember saying this in the summer. No club offered us that amount of money for Willian. What happened was Sky made a mistake. They kept inflating the deal by 10 extra million. By the time they realized they made a mistake, they couldn't go back on things, so they had to stick with the story. Now, some of you guys might not believe me, but that's what happens. So immediately, the money involved in this deal makes no sense whatsoever. Let's not forget, Willian's contract is going to be expiring soon. Barca just signed Malcom for 38 million this window. And I'm sorry, just reading this lazy report, there's no context in the story. When I read Sky's report, it was literally verbatim what was said in the Daily Mail report. I kind of feel like this is a non-issue, but it's always fun to think about. And for the second part, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on how I feel like this deal could make sense. Now, Barcelona have a ton of left-footed players. We have a ton of right-footed players. In that sense, if we were able to possibly find an arrangement where Willian signs for Barca and we were able to get Malcom as part of that deal, I would embrace it. Now, immediately I can tell that a lot of you are going to think, Nini, we have Hudson-Odoi, you're always advocating for this guy to play for us, but you want Malcom to come? You're just going to take away game time from Hudson-Odoi. Bear with me, I'm going to touch on that point soon in the video, but from a financial point of view, it would make sense to cash in on Willian if Barca really were going to come in with a deal, because Willian hasn't got the contract he wants just yet. He wants a longer one. Realistically, he's most likely to get that at Barcelona. I told you guys beforehand as well that Willian was another player that was quite frustrated with the lack of ambition that he feels the club has right now, and he was really interested in signing for Barcelona in the summer. Now, is Malcom the right signing? And I personally feel like he could provide something for this team. I like that he's a winger. We don't necessarily have traditional wingers in this team. I like that he's very direct on goal. His long shots are incredible, and I feel like he's a player where he could develop over time. I feel like Sarri could really work on him with how we like to play our football by focusing our plays down that left-hand side. Malcom could have that space down the right, which he would need to get past his man and get 1v1 versus opponents. And I feel like if we had the ability to do that, that's going to create even more havoc for opposition teams. Come on, you guys. When you play against teams that park the bus, the more players you have that can beat the opposition press as well as beat a man, it's gonna be very useful. Now, of course, Malcom isn't the finished article. He's not that consistent just yet. His form for Bordeaux last season was very good, but there were moments where he was quite quiet during moments of the campaign. But you might be thinking, Nini, start talking about Hudson-Odoi. If Malcom did really come as part of this deal, that's surely taking away game time from Hudson-Odoi. Now, here's where I give my thoughts and opinions on this whole striker debacle as well as Hudson-Odoi, and I feel like there's a very simple solution. That solution is Hazard continues to play up front as our striker. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm sorry. With Hazard up front, we become 10 times better. Now, hear me out, hear me out. The reason why we haven't seen this system at its purest just yet is because we have no midfield players that attack the spaces created by Eden Hazard or that do break the lines. Kovacic never does this. Ross Barkley does it sometimes, but he really does it in such a weak way where he just stays down that left-hand side. He never really breaks inside the box. Kante is the only one that does take responsibility because he probably notices that no one else is doing it in the team. But we do have that number one solution for us, and that is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, this guy is ideal for this system. Imagine the space created for him where he's got the dribbling ability to get past his man, attack the spaces, and drive through the middle. And if you have Hazard up front, you've got Hudson-Odoi that can play down the left-hand side in his best position. And I'm telling you, if you tell this guy, listen, you'll get more game time down that left-hand side because we're going to use Hazard in the middle, I guarantee you that Hudson-Odoi is going to have second thoughts if he is offered that space in the team. And of course, hypothetically, if Malcom came, he would be that guy down the right hand side alongside Pedro, and then we have the right attacking balance in the final third. False 9 does work. Hazard creates so much space for us, it's ridiculous. We become more dangerous, but if you don't have midfield players attacking the spaces, nothing's going to happen. And that's exactly what Sarri was talking about when he was linked with Paris Saint-Germain in the summer, when he was asked about Verratti, Rabiot, etc, etc. He said that his philosophy of football wouldn't ideally work because Paris Saint-Germain don't have the right midfield. And if you look at our team without Ruben, we don't really have the right personnel to do that role. I'm sorry, you guys, but this deal makes so much sense. With Higuain, the money involved for the guy is way too much in my personal opinion, and I can't see the club really entertaining a fee for him. If you look on the market, there's no strikers available. We'd have to spend a ton of money to sign someone decent, and this is why you see nonsense like Callum Wilson for 50 million. Listen, football isn't FIFA or Football Manager. Sometimes you can't always get every single player you want in one window. But for me, Eden Hazard playing up front is a solution to all of our issues. Number one, that could prevent Hudson-Odoi from signing for Bayern Munich. Number two, we're not wasting money on a striker. We could save that money for the next window because there's gonna be more strikers available. And three, if these Willian reports are really real, getting a young, high potential youngster in Malcom could be incredibly smart business for us, especially when Pulisic is going to arrive in the next window. And I say we just persist with Michy and Giroud. I personally feel like Michy could do much better in this system because our strikers don't necessarily need to touch the ball. And we know that Michy isn't the greatest footballer, but he's a great finisher. Now, yes, sometimes his form has been bad, so he has been missing very easy chances, but the guy is a better finisher than Morata and Giroud. And I feel like persisting with Giroud and Michy until the end of this season is enough, because then we can focus on making a big money move for a striker in the next window. But you guys in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Do you think that I'm being too far-fetched and crazy? Or do you think that I've got the perfect logical solution? Let me know below. Now, to end briefly on the final news reports for today's video, I'm hearing that Gary Cahill's move to Fulham is stalling right now, and currently it's looking like he isn't going to sign for them, but anything can still happen as we see time and time again in football. But remember, I'm only giving you the update for today. Now, when it comes to Paredes from Zenit St. Petersburg, I've been told that Chelsea scouts aren't really too keen on the player, and it seems like media reports are a bit exaggerated right now, and the deal really isn't as far along as what's being reported. And to end with Barella, I'm hearing some interesting things, and this story's been so confusing for me personally because I've been hearing so much conflicting information, and I've always felt like there's one significant piece we're missing in this information puzzle, where if we do find it, this whole story makes sense. And it might have come out today where reports in Italy were stating that Barella would prefer to sign for us in the summer because his partner is expecting to give birth anytime now. And on top of that, he would prefer to stay here while she's giving birth, and he'd like to have the pre-season working under Sarri as well. I can tell you guys this though, Cagliari want 55 million for him. We've only gone up to as far as 45 million for the player. We don't want to go any more. And I feel like this report that came up from Italy really fits everything together. I told you guys before that I was hearing that a move for Barella would happen in the summer. But of course, we do want a midfield replacement now. Giving my opinion on this story, I feel like Barella still may happen. I feel like we could persuade him to sign for us now. It makes a lot of sense because Zola has been reported to have spoken to this guy a lot throughout the weeks. And Sarri's a big fan of him as well. And Cagliari have replacements lined up for him as well. So something tells me that Barella may come this window, or even possibly in the summer, because I feel like the player would personally prefer to move to us in the summer. But this is how transfer news goes. You know, it can be quite confusing. You get so many conflicting reports. Things change every single day, which obviously makes sense because it's people negotiating for a deal. Hopefully I get more information in regards to the player and other deals as well. But you guys, that's going to bring an end to today's video. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm the FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.